Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. Today, because it's the very first Wednesday in March, it's one of our global video days, and that's just a group of demonstrators from across the world. We all get together on the first Wednesday of each month. We all have the same theme and we each make a different project, and then we share it so that you get to see lots of things that go with the theme or the stamp set or the colour, whatever it is for the month. If this is your first time visiting me at Crafts by the Bow in Canada, welcome and thank you so much. Today our theme is home decor, and I don't really make a lot of home decor pieces, so I was a little bit puzzled at first what to make, and then I decided that because spring is nearly here in Alberta, I would make something sort of light and bright and use the new little butterfly set that came out yesterday. And I would make just a little piece for my desk. Now, it's a little bit too big to fold and put in a regular medium envelope. You could put it in a larger envelope, or if you wanted, you could just narrow down the sizes, the little sides or the front of the box, and make it a wee bit smaller. But I was quite pleased with how this came out, and so I'm going to show you how to make it. Now, I didn't do much in the way of stamping or anything. If you look at this beautiful paper, which is from the Butterfly Bouquet set that demonstrators could get last month, but it went live yesterday for members of the public. So that's what I've used, but I've actually just used the designer series paper and the dies. Let me show you what comes in the set. You get this beautiful stamp set with all of these butterflies on, and I love this because it's one big stamp and you ink it all up and stamp the whole lot at the same time. And it has a set of matching dies. Let me just find the dies for you. So the dies come with it, and these dies will cut out, and you can see they have the little spaces in between. They're going to be more of like a silhouette, but with the little fine cuts as well. Then you get this large piece which cuts out all of this. And then there are some more smaller pieces. I honestly haven't used any of these yet, but I will be giving them a try. This is the first time I've used the set, so I was really excited to discover what it did. In with the set as well is this paper, and it's a speciality paper. It's called Natural Touch, and there are just 2 sheets, and it's almost like a thin, feels a little bit like veneer, but it's only designer series paper thickness. And I don't know if you can see, it has a slight embossing. It almost reminds me of that balsa wood, that really light wood that we used to build things with at school. It feels a little bit like that. And so I've used that and the designer series paper, which is a 6x6 paper. And there are 8 sheets of each pattern, and they are all double-sided. There are lots of different patterns in there. Very, very pretty colours. But the one I wanted to use today was this one, because how I cheated was I used this die, and if you place it over the designer series paper, you can see that it cuts out all of those butterflies all at the same time. You don't have to do any stamping, you don't have to do any cutting, you don't have to do any colouring. You can just cut the whole lot out together, and what you get left with is just this little piece here. So that's what I did. I cut one of those sheets out, and I also then put the die on half a sheet of basic white paper, and I ran it through the cutting machine as well, so that I got all of these butterflies just in the basic white. And that was because I wanted to have the paper just a little bit thicker. I wanted to have a backing on it as well. So let's put those away and let's show you how I made the box. So here are all the little butterflies that were cut out, and you can see that on the back, instead of having the back pattern of the designer series paper, I've got this thicker white card on the back, and it just helps keep the butterflies standing up and gives them a little bit more stability. So If you want to know all the sizings and everything, check out my blog at craftsbythebow.blogspot.com. All the sizings will be on there. You don't need to try and think right now what they all are. So I'm using Early Espresso card, and I've cut it. Oh, let me just move that. I was just going to drop those dies then. I've actually cut it at 6.5 by 2.5, and I've scored it here at 1/2 inch and here at 4 inches. So I actually had it in that way. I scored at 4 and then at 6. And you need 2 pieces of that, and then 2 pieces of that natural textures wood-like paper that I showed you. And we just need to attach these. It's a really simple little planter box. And it would look great if you didn't have the butterflies. It would look really nice with flowers in as well. You can adapt this for whatever you've got. But I think flowers would look really pretty. Okay. You can see that paper is just 1/4 inch smaller all the way around, and it gives you just a nice little border. And I've already done my second piece, and then I folded along those score lines. Do the same here. Oh, I've got a little bit of excess glue there. I'll erase that in a few minutes. Okay, and so this is going to form our planter box, and it will go just like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue along one of those 1/2 inch folds, and I'm going to lay this on top. I just hold it for a second or two. I've lined it up with the score line, and now I'm going to fold it in half, lay it flat, and I'm just pressing it down with my finger. And then I'm going to join the whole box up. So I've got the designer series paper on the back, folding over this little score line, a little bit more glue. I tend to use liquid glue on things like this, just so that I've got a little bit of extra wiggle room, but you could use tear and tape or anything. Just fold this whole piece over, and you'll find that it naturally just fits over the top. You don't have to do any bending, any folding. It just fits over the top, and that will give you your basic rectangle shape that you need. Next thing you need to do is choose the front and the back, and they are going to be both the same, but sometimes I'll find that let me see where the joins are, where these joins are, it might be not quite as straight or something, and I tend to put that at the back. But this piece came out really well, and they're both the same, so I'm fine. I've then got 2 more pieces of the Early Espresso, and all I've done is cut them to 1.5 inches wide and to 5 inches long, and I've scored 1/2 inch at each end, and I'm folding one up and one down so that you sort of get a zigzag shape. I'm going to pop glue on both little edges, and this is also how I make a lot of my pop-up card boxes. So it's just the very same principle. Just going to put that up a little bit, and I'm just going to gently hold them together, and then I'm going to fold the box, and I'm just going to move that one up so it's right at the edge or the top there. Oops, a little bit too high. There we are. And then I'm just going to fold it and just hold it. I'm just going to press the pieces down so that I know it's level at the top, and that way it will give you the first of your little pieces of card that makes the box a bit more stable. I'm going to do exactly the same with the other piece. So I'm going to fold a piece up and a piece down, and it gives you that zigzag shape again. Glue on each end. And then I'm just going to turn that one round. I'm going to have them go in this way this time. Okay, and I'm going to fold it again. Make sure these little pieces fold in. Just going to check that it's straight before I press. Yep, that's okay. And then I'm just going to press it down. we open it, you see you've got the 2 little stability bars in there. And that's just as much as you need. That will keep the box nice and open, and it will give you the space to add the butterflies. So if you want it to take it to another level, you could cut out little pieces that went on the side as well. I did think I might do that and add a little bit of the Speciality paper so that it looked more like a little planter. But to be honest, it was so fiddly cutting these bits out that, yeah, I left that. So I liked the box just as it was. But if you did want to add a little bit more, you know, you could add these little corners as well. And that gives it a little bit more stability for the corners. Okay. So while that's drying, let me show you what I did with the butterflies. These are the ones that I cut out, and I've already backed them with the card. And what I did was I backed, let's see, I backed some of them. The smallest one that I'm going to put on a little piece of window sheet or acetate, I haven't backed that one yet. I've still got that one there. And then I've got this little pinky red one just to show you what I did. If you think that the paper is going to be strong enough for what you need, you certainly don't have to back them if you want to be able to see the colours of the designer series paper. But I just knew that I wanted mine to be a little bit thicker. Okay. And then that's all I've done. And then as I've stuck them, then I've just bent them in half, because I want them to be able to look a little bit like there's a little bit more movement or a little bit more dimension to them. Okay, now I'm just going to get my other piece that just slipped onto the floor. There we go. This last one I'm not going to back. This is the one that I'm going to use on the front. And on my first one, I used that pink one on the front, and I wanted it to be, you know, really 3D. So I'm not backing that one. I just have to remember that that's the one for the front. And then my little one is the one that I want to have at the back. But because it would be too small to attach just to the box itself, I put it on a little piece of window sheet. And I often do that. If I make these kind of cards and I put flowers in, I'll often put a little window sheet piece in for the flowers. And I don't do anything special. I just put glue on, and I make sure that I put a little bit of glue on the other side as well. And then this little tiny piece, if you don't have window sheet, in the past I've also used some of those little pieces that you get in packaging, or little boxes that you might get fruit in or things. I'll use a little piece of that as well. As long as it's something that's clear and you can cut it easy enough to use in your project, that's all you need. Okay, so now you can see that we've got that little butterfly will stick, and that will just give us that extra length that we need. Okay, so I'm going to start and attach them. You could use glue. I'm going to use glue dots, and that way if I want to move something, I know I can easily move it with a glue dot. And all I'm going to do, this piece, I'm going to start off here at the left hand side, but I'm only going to have this part of the wing attached. So I'm only going to put just a couple of glue dots down at that side. And I put my fingers on so I know which side I'm using. And then you can do it this way, or you can take your glue dots off with your pokey tool. And then I'm just going to attach it onto the box. I can't see the little glue dots anymore, so I know I'm safe there. And that's the first of our butterflies in. Okay, now my little piece that's on acetate, I'm going to put that round about here, but I'm not going to attach it until I've got the next row done, just so that I know exactly how high or how low I need to put that one. I'm going to take this one next, and I'm going to add this one here. So I'm going to just put my glue dots at the bottom right of that wing. I'm just going to pop two on again. I always love when there are shortcuts on these designer series papers and the dies cut them out. It makes my job so much easier. And some days I don't always want to do a lot of stamping. No, I want to make a project and I want to make it more quickly. And if it's not a stamping day and you can use designer series paper instead, that's just perfect. Okay, so that's 2. Let's put these ones on as well. I think I'm going to put it so that this one goes here. And I might make it so that both wings have a glue dot on for this one. Just right at the bottom. And you can play about with placement and everything. And each one will be slightly different. Okay, and then let's find my little one here. Again, I'm just going to put one glue dot at the bottom right. Oops. Just the bottom right of the wing there. I want it just to go here. So it looks a little bit like it's flying. Okay, and then we can put this acetate piece in. I know that I want it to go, oops, let me bend that a bit. I know that I want it to go up here at the back, or I could have it at the front here in this little gap. Oh, that looks pretty too. Let me see. No, I'm going to put it at the back. And again, I'm going to put that on with a glue dot, but I'm just going to measure slightly so I know roughly where I want it. Okay, so about halfway down is where I'm going to pop my glue dot. And you could use tear and tape if you don't want to use glue dots for this piece. There we go. And that way you can't really see the acetate sheet and it just looks like the butterfly is hovering in the air there. Okay, and then let's look at the front. The set that I use doesn't have any sentiments on. It is plain butterflies. But I've got lots of other stamp sets and I actually liked the Hippo Happiness one that said fluttering by just to say hi. I thought that was perfect because it's a butterfly after all. So I stamped that out just in my Memento Black and then I cut it out with the tag punch. And what I also did was I actually cut 2, I didn't need 2, but I cut Bermuda Bay as well, because that's going to be my backing. We don't have a tag punch that's slightly larger, so you can put this on card and cut round by hand, but all I do is I cut one of these out, well, punch one of these ones out, cut it in half, and then I put a little bit of glue and I make it so that it doesn't match in the middle, but it matches, or it just fits. Oops, she said just fits, and it fell off. It just fits on the top there. So you've got just that extra little layer on there. And then the same with the bottom piece. I'll pop a little bit of glue on, nothing fancy. And it just, you know, it just gives that little extra highlight and that little extra piece. It's got a little edge on there. I'm just going to chop that off. There we go. And I'm going to put it over at this side. I'm just going to add dimensionals to it. I'm going to pop 3, and I'm putting it across the little gap between the Bermuda Bay pieces. You don't have to put this on with dimensionals, you could just glue it on flat if you wanted. Oh, what did I get on here? Little piece of fluff there. Okay, and I'm going to put it over here. And then that last little butterfly that I still had, I'm going to put him over here. And I'm only going to put glue right down the middle of him. So he hasn't got a lot of glue holding him on. Hold it for a second just to make sure that it's going to stick in the right place. There. And then if you wanted to jazz these up even more, you could use your wink of Stella and go over some of the wings or over the bodies. You could even add little pieces of greenery or flowers. This is the sprig punch that you could put little pieces in so that it looked like they were flying in a garden. I'm going to leave mine just as it is. If I was sending it to somebody, I would probably, on the back, I would add like a little tag or something. I could put one of the other butterflies on, and I could just write a little to and from on there as well, so that would be nice. But that's my little home decor piece for our March video blog. Now, I hope you like them. I hope you'll give them a go. If you do, post a picture either on the YouTube or on my craftsbythebow.blogspot.com. Sorry. Post a little picture and show us what you made as well. Thanks so much for watching me, everybody. Check out the links at the bottom of the video because it will show you all of the other demonstrators who have taken part this month. Have a wonderful March, and I'll see you all again really soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.